Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sports News Flash at 12. I am your weekend sports anchor, Miguel Mike Medina. Happy New Year 2023 to all of you. I hope that this new year brings you a lot of peace and tranquility, and most of all, have God in your heart. That's the most important thing. Always have God in your heart. He will follow your steps. Trust, listen, obey in God. So we need a lot of more of that because there's a lot of bad things happening in the world. But every decision you make, everything, always put God first. Talk to Him first, and He will guide you into the right steps. But you have to listen to Him, trust Him, and obey in Him. You guys like my Happy New Year hat? It's not from this year. I kept it from last year, so it's perfect because it doesn't say whatever year, it just says Happy New Year. So I thought about using that for this show, but I'm going to start this episode with some sad news. The king of soccer, Pele, he passed away on Thursday from multiple organ failure due to progression of colon cancer. Pele, he is someone that transcends the game to a higher level. He paved the way for so many Brazilian soccerers that we see today, for example, like Neymar and many others, Cristiano Ronaldo. Pele played in 4 World Cups and is the only player in soccer history to win 3 of them. He became a global ambassador for the sport, and it all began in Sao Paulo, Brazil. In 1,373 games, he scored 1,281 goals, which is impeccable. And like I said, Neymar, who's a Brazilian soccer himself, and he's a star, he said it best, and I quote, "Pele changed everything. He transformed football into art and entertainment. Football and Brazil elevated their standing thanks to the king. He is gone, but his magic will endure. Pele is eternal." Pele died at the age of 82. Rest in peace, Pele. The number 6 Tennessee Volunteers took on the number 7 seed Clemson Tigers. Now, this is one of those matchups that really excited me during this bowl season. So I was really curious how this matchup was going to turn out to be. The only thing that I would have loved to see Hendon Hooker taking on DJ at the quarterback position, but the Volunteers quarterback Joe Milton III, he made his second start following the season-ending injury to Hendon Hooker. And as for Clemson, it was Cade Klubnik who made his first career start after earning MVP honors in the ACC championship game. DJ has been struggling, so Cade took his spot. As for Joe Milton, the question is, did Joe Milton rise to the occasion, or did Cade Klubnik rose to the occasion? Which of these two teams came out on top? The Tennessee Volunteers and Joe Milton did not disappoint whatsoever. Milton completed 19 of 28 passes for 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the biggest story of the night is Tennessee's defense. They were outstanding from the beginning of the game. Linebacker Aaron Beasley had a great first half performance. He led Tennessee with 12 tackles and 4 tackles for losses. Tennessee's defense were outstanding, especially in the red zone. All 6 of Clemson's first half possessions ended in Tennessee's territory. Their defensive players continued to grow, and you saw it in this game. This is Tennessee's first 11-win season since 2001. Tennessee are the Orange Bowl champions, and without their defense, they would have not come out winning this game. They won 31-14. Clemson is a team that scores more than 30 points, and Tennessee's defense just completely stopped them from gaining any kind of momentum whatsoever. Clemson ran 101 plays, but Tennessee's defense, led by Aaron Beasley, has had a lot to say about that. So Tennessee, I'm looking forward to what they will be bringing next season, because the fact that this is their first 11-win season since 2001 says a lot about how far this team has come and how much they're growing, especially on their defense. We're going to go into this commercial, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the anniversary of Roberto Clemente and the legacy and impact he left in baseball, as well as Miguel's top performances of the weekend. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Sports News Flash at 12. Yesterday made it 50 years since the death of the late great Roberto Clemente. Clemente, he tragically died in a plane crash in Puerto Rico while attempting to deliver supplies to Nicaragua because they have dealt with earthquake over there. So many victims have passed away in Nicaragua, and Roberto Clemente, the kind of human being that he is, he decided to help, and he risked his life for Nicaragua. And it's just very tragic, very sad that a human being like Roberto Clemente, he wanted to help, and the fact that he wasn't able to make it to Nicaragua is just mind-boggling, and it's very sad. So his impact, his legacy is still talked about, is still felt to this day, because not only was he a great all-around player, but he was a great human being as well. Clemente, he won the MVP in 1966. He was a 15-time All-Star. He has 3,000 hits and won 2 titles with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and was named the 1971 World Series MVP. Roberto Clemente, he paved the way for so many land baseball players that we see today, because he had to fight for everything he had in his career. He dealt with racism, he dealt with oppression, and it's great that MLB still honors him to this day, because when we think about Roberto Clemente, we also think about Jackie Robinson. We think about so many players that paved the way for the players that we see today. So before Ivan Rodriguez, before Yadier Molina, before Roberto Alomar, before all of these great Puerto Rican players, we got to start with Roberto Clemente at first. So Clemente, it's just crazy. 50 years since his death. But we will never forget the impact that he left in when he was alive, the amount of success that he had in baseball, the fact that he had to endure so much, says a lot about the kind of player he was, the kind of person he was. So it just felt great it felt right to talk about him for this episode on this New Year's Day. Now, we're off to Miguel's top performances, and here are my top performances of this weekend. To close the show for today, I want to pay a tribute to my grandmother. Today makes it 9 years since she passed away. She was 94 years old. My grandmother, in my opinion, was perfect to me. I know that nobody's perfect in this world, but my grandmother was perfect to me. She raised me and my sisters. Obviously, I was raised by my parents, but every time my parents went to work, my grandmother, she looked after us. We lived with her. It was just so many things that my grandmother did for me and for my sisters, for our family. She was the heart and soul, the motor. She was everything to us. I'm grateful that I've had her for 22 years of my life, because I was 22 years old when she passed away. And ever since she passed away, New Year's was never the same for us. Before she passed away, we will always celebrate New Year's. But ever since she passed away, it just wasn't the same. It left a big void in this house. And now, every time the ball drops, just say a quick Happy New Year to my family and my close friend. But there's no celebration on our end. There's no, I'm wearing this hat because for the sake of the show, to entertain, but New Year's is just not, it's just not for me. It's not for me anymore. It's like any other day. So, but I do have something in mind. After my grandmother passed away, I named my production company, the Bull 94 Productions, after her. Her initials are both with an L, the first name and her last name. So, and 94, she was 94 when she passed away. So I felt like that was the best way for me to honor her. Many people will get a tattoo, would do other things, but I rather honor my grandmother in a much more meaningful way. So my grandmother, I miss her very dearly. I love her. And this is the way for me to end the show, by paying tribute to her, everything that she's done for me, the amount of big impact that she had on me in my life. And I will continue to honor her in everything that I do. Everything that I do, I always do it for her and for and for my family, because family is everything, and it's the first thing for me, the most important thing. Mamá, te quiero mucho. It's just tough. It's tough, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this new episode, the first episode of 2023. Enjoy NFL Sunday. Enjoy hockey. And I'll be seeing you guys next Sunday for a new episode. My message is always the same. Always have God in your heart. Be safe. And may God bless you all. Hope this new year is a great one for all of you. We pray for the world, pray for our families, and let's be more kind to each other. We have to. All right? So see you guys next Sunday.